Hello, hello. This is a story I've worked very hard on about Veshness, the Supreme Commander and Big Bad of 100 Line, and a story she would never ever tell anyone. I call this story Misplaced Mercy. Chapter 1, Snow Angel. Veshness was a young girl when her parents died. Unfortunately, because she was blessed with sacred blood, her and her siblings were unaffected by the explosion. However, their parents did not survive. In the aftermath, they were taken in by a man who was unrelated to them. He would raise them in the forest, far from any other Futurans, for their safety. It wasn't fair that the humans continued to ravage their land. They had been here for 200 years, constantly fighting, but luckily the Futurans had the Paragons to look after them, to keep them safe. Still, it was inconvenient and hard on all of them. There were many rules they had to follow. After all, they believed in God. God knew everything. God blessed them with their sacred blood. But he had many rules. One such rule was that you could not consume meat. And even though they were starving in the winter, when all the berries would dry up and food became ever so scarce, they would never be allowed to do so. Yet, one winter, young Veshness tried to eat the remains of an animal that had been killed by predators. The man stopped her before the blood could even touch her lips, and he beat her as punishment. As he beat her, she just looked over to her siblings, who stood and watched. They would never help. They were immobilized by their belief in God. They believed this punishment was correct. That is why Veshness would never trust them. After that incident, Veshness was fed up. She was tired. Why is it that they had to follow these rules when the humans clearly took advantage of them? Why is it that every time she the asked God to destroy the humans, they continued to exist without God's blessing? She was sick of it. She didn't need her family. She didn't need her siblings, and she certainly didn't need that man. She could perfectly survive on her own. She could make fire. She could forage for food. She'd be perfectly fine. And one day, she'd be old enough to become a paragon and fight for justice. Veshness would travel for days, all on her own, not seeing a single soul. She would pass by ruins of civilization, cityscapes, now emptied, long past their time. If the humans never came to Futurin, she could have lived in a real house with her parents, not the damp cave the man raised her in. Damn humans. She wanted them all to burn, yet they still persisted without the blessing of God. It infuriated her. One day, as Veshness was walking alongside the mountain, she heard a scream. It sounded young and female. Instinctively, she ran towards the sound and saw a girl drowning in the freezing rapids of the river. Without a second thought, Veshness leapt in to save the girl. They were about the same size, so it was a bit difficult to get her out, but Veshness persisted. She swam and fought the currents until they managed to get it to the bank. She didn't care how cold she was. Someone was in need and needed to be saved. That's what a paragon would do. It wasn't until she reached the bank and started to dry off that she realized this wasn't a Futuran. This was a human girl? Veshness had never seen one so young. All the ones she had seen were so big and scary, yet here was this small human, shivering and cold, so exhausted that she couldn't even move. Veshnis thought to herself, if she left this human here, she'd likely die of hypothermia. There'd be one less enemy in the world. Then the girl opened her eyes and stared at Veshnis, her sapphire eyes soft as the sky. The girl faintly said something in a language Veshnis did not know. Was this gratitude? Veshnis swiftly got to work, stripping the girl of her soaked clothes, building a fire, and giving her some berries that she had stored away. She completely neglected her own shivering and hungry body to care for this girl. They needed to warm up, so Veshnis removed her own clothes and sat next to the girl. It was important. I mean, she would freeze if they didn't. The girl slowly came back, her blood slowly pumping. There wasn't anything they could really discuss since they clearly didn't understand each other, so they just sat next to each other in silence as they both warmed up. Until the girl suddenly nudged Veshnis. Veshnis turned and the girl pointed to herself. Yuki! Um, is that your name? Yuki! Yuki! You. Hey! Uh, UK. Yuki! Yuki? Yuki! Uh, okay, my name is Veshnes. Nas? No, Veshnes. Veshnes? Veshnes. Veshnes? Veshnes! Veshnes! Yeah, that's my name, Yuki. Eventually, the girls were dry. Veshnes asked what Yuki would do. Yuki pointed to herself, then up the river current to a mountain. That must be where she came from. Yuki bowed and said something before turning away and walking away. Was she insane? Veshnis wouldn't allow this girl to get herself killed. Hey, stop! You're gonna. Listen, if you're going up that mountain, I'll go with you. Just. Oh, here. Veshnis grabbed her by the wrist. Veshnis pointed to herself, then Yuki, and then the mountain. Yuki seemed to understand Veshnis wouldn't back down and took her hand. Together they walked alongside the current, hand in hand. Clearly, Yuki was not used to the terrain as she stumbled a lot. She didn't seem to be used to any of this. She would stop a lot, not to rest, but just to stare at animals and plants and even the sky. I mean, it was all common sights on Futurin. Not a single one Yuki stopped for was rare. Yet, with how intensely Yuki stared at these things, it almost felt like they were rare. They continued up halfway through the mountain, and suddenly it started to snow. Ugh, great. Veshnis hated snow. Yet Yuki suddenly came alive. She was so giddy and happy, just suddenly running and trying to catch as many snowflakes as she could. Veshnis could only stand in confusion. Uh, I guess you've never seen snow, have you? Yuki turned to her with a smile. She collected more snowflakes in her hand, then pointed to them and said, Yuki! Um, oh, Does Yuki mean snow? The girl seemed to nod in understanding. That makes sense. I mean, her hair was white as snow, though her personality was anything but cold. Unfortunately, Veshnes couldn't exactly point to what her name meant. Can't really point to an abstract concept like hope. But it was nice to see Yuki so happy. It almost made the snow warm to look at. They would continue up towards the mountain, but night would start to fall. They couldn't go any further, so Veshnes looked for a cave where they could sleep. There, Veshnes set a fire. Seeing as they both needed the warmth, Veshnes and Yuki snuggled up as they slept. The next morning, Veshnes would wake up before dawn, as she always did. She always had to be up early, scavenging for food, making sure the barrier was safe. But to her surprise, she saw Yuki was there, outside the cave, looking towards the horizon. Suddenly, the sun slowly began to come out and paint the sky. Yuki stood in complete awe. Veshnitz had seen the sunrise almost every day of her life, yet something about this sunrise felt so ethereal. She turned towards Yuki and saw her crying, but she was also smiling. She looked so beautiful. They would continue to trek up the mountain until finally they could see a clearing. There were a couple of tents and a building alongside a big mountain lake. Veshnes could also see some humans, though they didn't seem to carry any weapons. Still, it probably wouldn't have been a good idea if Veshnes were to go in. So she just pointed to herself and then to the ground. Yuki understood. She placed a hand on Veshnes's and embraced her. Veshnes wasn't exactly used to that feeling, but hugged her back. And then she watched Yuki leave. As soon as Yuki entered the base, the humans dropped everything to approach her. A white-haired human ran out of the building and embraced Yuki. Most likely they were Yuki's parent. Looking at the reunion reminded Veshnes of her own family. Sure, she hadn't really considered how worried they'd be by her absence. Sure, she questioned the teachings, but they were her family. It was her duty to be by their side and protect them. They were the only family she had left. So Veshnes decided to go home. However, she would never tell anyone about the human she met on her journey. No one would understand, and honestly, Veshnes wanted this precious memory of Yuki all to herself. Okay, chapter 2, Thawed Heart. Months passed, but the memory of Yuki never faded from Veshnes's mind. She discovered a newfound admiration for the nature that surrounded her. She was still apprehensive to the teachings, but she sucked it up and followed them. Secretly, though, she prayed to God that she might meet Yuki again, though she understood that was a very selfish wish. And yet, 6 months later, during the driest summer Veshnes had ever felt, the berries had all dried up, so Veshnes had to venture further out. She ventured into a meadow looking for anything her and her family could eat, and then she heard a voice. Freshness! Veshnis turned, and she saw that familiar glow of white in the summer sun, running towards her. Yuki? Suddenly, Yuki just ran towards her and accidentally tackled her to the ground. "Oh, I'm sorry." Wait, sorry? She she said that in Futurin? Did she really understand Yuki just now? Can you understand me? Yes. Veshnis's jaw dropped. Suddenly, she had so many things she wanted to ask Yuki. How was she here? How did she learn Futurin? Was she still with the humans from before? Ah, okay, okay. Uh, um, mm, mm. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, um, Yuki means snow. I gathered that. I'm from satellite, not come here. Father researcher. I go sneak. Didn't know. Her futurin was very broken, but she was trying her best. From what Veshnis could gather, Yuki's father was a researcher. Yuki had lived her whole life on the satellite and snuck in to the base. She had snuck onto a ship towards Futurin in order to see Snow, her namesake. Of course, when she returned, he sent her back to the satellite, but she begged and begged and begged him to bring her back to Futurin. Oh, um, wow. Them meeting again in this meadow. It seemed like a miracle from God. Maybe he wanted the two to be friends. Still, they had to be careful, as they would be seen as enemies by both Futurans and humans. Did you tell anyone? Oh, uh, no, I didn't. I like you. I didn't either. You're my precious secret. You're mine. From then on, Veshnes and Yuki would meet in secret, far away from Veshnes's forest. They would meet in another forest, just the two of them, and exchange so much knowledge. Yuki would slowly get better at her future, and thankfully, so conversation became a little easier. Veshnes would explain some of her world to Yuki, and in turn, Yuki would talk about her world. Veshnes would talk about God, the teachings, and her forest. Yuki would talk about the satellite, and apparently a lot of humans didn't even know Futurin was a place. They sounded really stuffy up there. So many rules, and nobody really seemed to care. No wonder Yuki left. Sure, there were still plenty of humans that wanted to violently colonize Futurin, but there were just as many, if not more, humans that wanted to live in peace with Futurins. Veshnis would come to learn that Yuki and her father's group were the latter. Her father's group weren't warriors or anything, they were just harmlessly researching the planet in order to understand its beauties and phenomenons. But given the not so great relationship between their species, that's why they would conduct their research secretly up in the mountains away from any eyes. But it made sense, and honestly, it was pretty stupid of Veshnes to think that every human was a monster. I mean, Yuki certainly wasn't. One day, Veshnes would wait around, the usual place, but Yuki wasn't there. She was never this late before. And then suddenly she heard that familiar scream. She ran over to find Yuki being chased by a bear. Veshnis instinctively jumped in to protect her. The bear clawed at Veshnis's back. Although her clothes were shredded, her skin was not. The bear tried to strike again, only for Veshnes to punch it clean in the face. She stood her ground and gave a mighty roar, scaring the bear off. As it ran away, two cubs followed it. Oh my god! Veshnes, are you okay? Oh my god, are you bleeding? Wait, wait, what? How are you not bleeding? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. No, you don't have to worry about me. I'm blessed by God. What? Well, you see, I'm our God sometimes blesses people with special blood, sacred blood, and that makes it so only people with sacred blood can hurt you. Oh my God, that's incredible. Also, why were you getting chased by a bear? Oh, well, I saw its cubs and it was really cute. Ah, Yuki, you're gonna give me a heart attack. Don't do something so dangerous. I won't. Oh man, but that was so cool how you leapt in to save me. Uh, yeah, I guess. You know what you remind me of, Veshnis? What? A knight. A knight? Yeah. Oh, right, I never told you. Knights are this thing from human legends. They would wear armor and they would protect their kingdoms and fair maidens from all sorts of monsters and bad guys. They're really noble and just always beaming with justice. Honestly, you're just like one. Oh, uh, wow. Yeah. My knight in shining armor. Uh, yeah. Time flew with Yuki by Veshnis's side. Veshnis would learn more about the satellite and all its restrictions. Yuki would in turn learn about Futurins and all its customs. Then one day, Yuki would admit, you know, you're honestly the first friend I ever had. What? Really? Yeah, I mean, of course I love Futurin, but I also love Earth, but nobody up on the satellite really cares about that stuff. They would rather move on. And well, I couldn't tell anybody but my father really about all the interesting things. So nobody really wanted to talk to me. I just felt so out of place. I mean, even my dad doesn't really get how interested I am in everything. I just feel like he doesn't really understand me, that none of my kind understand me. Yeah, I feel that too. I mean, I follow the teachings, and it's fine, it makes sense, but I don't know, I feel like sometimes the teaching should be challenged a little, but I don't want to do that. It would just upset everybody. What about your siblings? Ava and Valfor? Uh, they're not exactly. They're, they they're more like the humans on your satellite. They're just not really interested in the things I am. I mean, sure, we get along, we eat together, and I'll always take care of them, but they don't really understand me. Well, it's a good thing I understand you. Now that we're together, you'll never be alone, Veshnes. Yeah, I feel the same way. And, I'm always happy when you talk to me and tell me about all these incredible things. You're my best friend, Veshnes. You're mine too, Yuki. Time passed. Summer cooled into fall. Leaves fell, then were covered by snow. In the past, Veshnis hated winter, as it made food scarce. Now, though, seeing Yuki standing amidst the snow, she couldn't help but love it and admire its frozen beauty. Of course, food was still scarce. One day, Veshnis would arrive with a grumbling stomach, and Yuki would offer her a sandwich. Veshnis was about to eat it until she noticed a little piece of pink stuff. Um, Yuki, is this meat? Oh no, I'm so sorry. I just took it from the lab. I didn't know there was meat in it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry. Rules are rules. I can't eat it. Okay, but you could at least eat the stuff around it. I mean, you're hungry. No, rules are rules, Yuki. I can't eat anything that's been touched by meat. Really? But doesn't that hurt? Rules are rules. I have to follow them. I understand. I'll make sure and be careful next time. I'll make sure from now on it's nothing but vegetarian stuff. Ooh, I know some really good carrots we could try. Do eggs count as meat? Yes. Oh, darn. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. It's okay. It was an honest mistake. More time passed. It had been about 2 years since Yuki and Veshnes had come to know each other. That summer was so hot. They sweated together under their usual tree. Oh. Ah, I mean, I like the fact that the weather can change here, but I've never felt so hot in my life. Yeah, at least there's some nice cool winds. You know, there is a way we could cool off. Suddenly, Yuki ran towards the lake and started to take off her clothes. What are you doing? Come on, let's jump in. But, but what if you drown? I learned a little how to swim, though I know that if I start to drown, you'll come and save me, right? Okay. Veshnis took off her clothes as well. She couldn't let Yuki get in danger again. Plus, it would be nice to cool off. They held each other's hands and jumped in together. Sure, Yuki did learn how to swim, but her form was terrible. Really? That's how you swim? Here, I could teach you. My swimming is not that bad, Yuki said, splashing Veshnas. I know, but you could be better. They would splash together and play, losing their cares. Nothing existed, all except for them in this water. Once they were nice and cool, Veshnas returned to the bay. She would sit and start to dry off. Yuki would follow and sit right next to her. Veshnas felt her heart skip a beat. You know, Veshnas, it truly is a miracle that I got to see you. I mean, think about it. If you weren't there that day, I would have drowned. I would have been cold, afraid, and alone. But because we met each other, I'm none of those things. Yeah, honestly, I wasn't really believing God when I found you, but I don't know. Whenever I'm with you, everything just feels right. It feels like this is how it's supposed to be, that I'm meant to love. Hey, Veshnas, do you love me? Because honestly, I've fallen in love with you, Veshnes, more than a friend. I can't really pinpoint when, but it makes sense, don't you think? I mean, you're the only person in this entire universe that understands me, that knows me, and loves me. And you always will protect me. You're my knight in shining armor, Veshnes. Veshnes hesitated. Yes, now that there was a word for it, it certainly described Veshnes's feelings for Yuki, but they were from two different worlds. What what would God think of her if she pursued this love? What would her mother and father think, having lost their lives to Yuki's species? Surely the man would punish her for this transgression if she knew. Yuki gently caressed Vesnes's cheek, her eyes sapphire, shimmering with the light reflected off the lake. Just like that, all of Vesnes's thoughts evaporated. I love you, Yuki. You know what that means? Yuki answered her own question by kissing Veshnes. Her lips were so soft and warm. They tasted so good. Yet God hadn't punished her. Maybe he never would. Maybe this was all part of God's design to end the war between humans and Futurans with love, pure, untainted love. Chapter 3, Blizzard of Betrayal. 3 winters came and went. They were 17 now, the both of them. Yet, with Yuki's presence, Veshnes never felt cold. She followed the teachings without any questions or frustration. She had to in order to thank God for bringing Yuki into her life. Of course, there would be times when Veshnes would try to sneak off, and her family was skeptical. The man would ask her where she was going, and Veshnes would simply say, I'm foraging, I'm training, I'm admiring God's creations. And technically, that wasn't a lie. She just left out the part where she was doing it with Yuki. It didn't matter. Veshnes learned so many wonderful things from Yuki. Human legends, natural phenomenons. What made the leaves change colors? Why did snow fall from the sky? How were mountains made? Um, Maybe for others this information would challenge their faith, but for Veshnes it only further proved the existence of God. Yes, the universe was a finely tuned machine designed by God. Every part had its place. Even ugly, horrific tragedies, such as the war, gave way to beautiful miracles like Yuki and Veshnes's love. Ah, Yuki, she was the most beautiful, most amazing, most wonderful thing in the world. Ah, that's why she would fight. She would continue to train and become a paragon, a true hero of justice. She could forge a path of peace between humans and Futurans through love. Um, Love was amazing. But then the seasons changed. One day, Yuki would come to their forest with a forlorn look. Yuki, what's wrong? Oh, Veshnes, it's my dad. Is he okay? Our research has been canceled. Canceled? What does that mean? It means that I'm not going to be able to stay on this planet anymore. What? What? They just I'm gonna have to go back to the satellite and I'm never going to get to see you again, Veshnes. I'm so sorry. No, no, it's not your fault. But uh, oh, oh, Yuki. That's why I was thinking, Veshnes. What if we ran away together? I mean, think about it. Think of all the beautiful things we could see together. We could go see the ocean. We could go see deserts and jungles. I mean, we're both capable of surviving on our own together. You can still be a hero of justice, and I'll be there for you. Well, well, I mean, we could you could come live with me and my family. Vashnes, you know that's not going to work. You said it yourself. They wouldn't understand. They don't understand you. Yeah, but I'm sorry, Yuki. I really, really wish I could go with you. And I would love it, but I have a duty to my family, to Futurin. I'm 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 just a year away from becoming a paragon. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Yuki. Yuki did not cry or shout. She simply caressed Veshnes's wet cheek. It's okay, Veshnes. I'm not mad. I know how faithful you are. That's what I love about you. And even if we're apart, our love will never fade. I'll never forget you. I'm so sorry. She hated feeling so helpless. Had the humans not chosen this, she wouldn't have to lose the love of her life. I don't want to lose you. It's okay. It's okay. Shh. I will always love you, Veshnes. Always. Yuki kissed Veshnes, her lips soft and sweet as always. Veshnes closed her eyes and returned her kiss, severing every moment of it. Suddenly, Veshnes felt a sharp pain in her back. Her body froze and hardened, forcing her to the ground. Veshnes tried to look up to Yuki, but her vision was too blurred to make out an expression. She passed out. Veshnes would awaken, not in the snow, but in the cave. As soon as she opened her eyes, her sister Ava was there. Oh, thank God you're alive! Oh, Malfoy! She's up! She's up! Oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, okay, good. She's up. Veshnes, are you okay? The man approached. What happened? Veshnes wished she could speak, but she couldn't. She was so exhausted she couldn't even speak or move her head. No, what? You lost a lot of blood. We don't know how, but We're taking care of you, so don't worry. But how? How did she lose so much blood? What happened to Yuki? Did the same thing that struck Veshnis also strike Yuki? Oh God, Veshnis, hope to God not. She needed to regain her strength immediately. She had to find Yuki. For 3 straight days, Veshnis was bedridden. Her siblings and the man took turns tending to her. They would ask her what happened, but Veshnis wouldn't tell. She couldn't let them know about Yuki. One day, the man asked if she saw anyone before she fell unconscious. No, I didn't see anyone. Are you sure? When I found you in the snow, there was only one pair of footprints, and it was too small for an adult man. I told you I didn't see anything. Tell me the truth, Veshnis. I didn't see anything. Even when he tried to beat the truth out of her, Veshnis wouldn't give. The man gave up and handed her her dinner before leaving. I mean, if a group of hostile humans wanted to steal Veshnis's blood, they could have knocked her out from the shadows. Then they'd just need to cover their tracks with snow. It's a wonder why they didn't just kill Veshnis, unless they just underestimated her. God, please, God, let Yuki be okay. Please. As soon as Veshnes regained control of her body, she headed straight for Yuki's base in the mountains. Veshnes was determined to find her beloved. She had to know if she was safe. She saw the familiar base had gotten bigger. There were more humans now, but none of them looked to be Yuki. She couldn't just waltz into the encampment asking for Yuki. But luckily, she was trained in the art of stealth and could sneak in. Carefully, she walked around, sneaking in through the shadows, looking through the windows until she saw those familiar snowy white locks. She tapped on the window. Vishnes! Yuki opened the window. Oh, hi. Oh, thank God you're alive. I'm so glad I found you. Oh, Yuki, you're alive! Oh, I missed you. Don't worry, I'm okay. I healed up. They just took my blood, but I'm all healed up. It's okay. Oh, I'm so glad you're still here. Oh, I was so worried about you, but you ran away. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank God you're okay. Oh, freshness. What's wrong? I'm okay. I told you, Yuki, I'm fine. Yuki gripped her own arm. I'm so sorry, Veshnes. What are you apologizing for? I'm okay. Veshnes, I'm the one who knocked you out and took your blood. I'm so sorry. I I just what? I'm so sorry. It was the only way. They told me it was the only way that our research could continue is if I took some of your blood, and I knew you wouldn't. I know it's taboo, that you're not supposed to give it to anyone. So I, I, I don't know what I was doing. I was being so stupid, and I'm so sorry that I hurt you. What? Why? Why would you do that? She already knew, but she wanted so desperately for there to be another answer, one that didn't mean Yuki betrayed her. But Yuki did not give her any such answer. She just continued to cry. How? What? Yuki tried to caress Veshnis's cheek. Veshnis pushed her away. She felt filthy. A sacred glass, emptied of its contents and tossed into the mud. This wasn't an unknown human soldier that did this to her. It was the love of her life, the most beautiful girl in the universe. Yet now all she saw was a web of hideous cracks. Vashnis screamed. Yuki's father ran in and shielded his daughter from the supposed monster in front of him. He yelled at her in that language she never learned. Why? Why did Yuki never teach her Japanese? Why did Yuki want to learn so much about Futurin? Why did Yuki find her again? Why did Yuki fall in love with Veshnes? Unless it was all a trick. More humans filed into the room. They gathered around her, some brave enough to push Veshnes away, all of them shouting. Veshnes couldn't hear them. She was blind and deaf to their presence. Her eyes could only focus on Yuki, cowering and crying behind her father. Yuki, Yuki. Veshnes dug her nails into the palms of her hands. She dug so hard she bled. Is this what Yuki wanted? The sacred blood that coursed through Veshnes's veins, pumped by her noble heart? The blood levitated from Veshnes's palms and circled around her. Finally, for the first time in her life, Veshnes transformed. The thing she transformed into was too great for a mere small room to hold. Whatever humans ran out from the collapse, she would slay down with her manifested broadsword. Many would flee, some would fight, all would die. This was divine retribution for the sacred laws they defiled, for the countless Futurans they slaughtered, for the very planet they wounded and tainted with their presence. She lost count of how many humans she slaughtered until there was only one left. That roach that crawled out of the wreckage. Veshnes grabbed her, held her up by her throat. Yuki. It wouldn't be. It would be easy. All she had to do was tighten her grip, and blood would pop out of her mouth. Yuki. And yet, despite all her fire, she dropped Yuki to the ground and turned her back. Leave, Futurin, and never come back. Veshnes left, leaving that wretch in the ruins of her deceit. Chapter 4. Black Snow. Veshnis would return to her forest. She was changed. It was clear to her siblings. Veshnis, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Where did you go? We were so worried. Yeah, you don't look good. I'm fine. I was training, and I finally transformed. Oh, you did? Yeah, I did. They should have been happy for her, yet she could tell they only looked at her with fear. The man came out of the cave. Veshnis prepared herself to be beaten within an inch of her life. But rather than slap her, he embraced her. Sorry I left. In the past, Veshnis hid Yuki out of love. Now, she hid her out of shame. The following days continued without fanfare. Every day, Veshnis would train. She would try to call upon her battle form, but it would not easily be called. Very few paragons had ever transformed so young. She had to persist, though. She had to manifest that power and ability if she was going to wipe every disgusting human off this planet. She had to fight and never be swayed by the deceptions of humankind ever again. She was a warrior of God. One day, Veshnis would train so diligently and hard that she passed out from exhaustion. She would awaken back in the cave in the dead of night. The man slept in his usual corner. Ava naturally curled up to Valfor. All was quiet and peaceful. They were blessed to have the hidden sanctuary, but other Futurans weren't. At this very moment, Futurans all across the world were starving and desperate for shelter. All because of them. Veshnis got up and walked outside. She looked up to the stars for some reprieve, only to see that hideous reminder in the sky. Suddenly, a flock of birds took to the sky. Veshnis heard their distressed cries and turned. There, floating above the trees, illuminated by the silver moonlight, was smoke. Large, dense puffs of smoke. Quickly, Veshnis ran into the cave. Get up! Get up! Fire! Fire! Her siblings rushed, and the man came with along. As soon as they got outside, the entire forest was consumed by flames. Yet Veshnis would try to find a path. This forest she had known all her life now became an unrecognizable maze of infernos. Yet she persisted. Her siblings lagged behind with the man, but she continued to call out, "This way!" She would use whatever strength she had to push through, to find a spot where they could be free. Even if they didn't burn, they could very well suffocate with these fumes. She persisted and carried on, trying to get to that spot clear of smoke. By some miracle, they were able to get towards it, get out of the burning forest. But Veshnis should have known. There were no such things as miracles. As soon as she approached the outskirts, she was met with the sound of thunder, followed by a searing pain in her shoulder. She had been wounded. Suddenly, another clasp of thunder. The man pushed her down, and he dropped, dead. Valfor and Ava ran back into the forest for cover. There were humans here. Humans did this. Veshna stared into the empty eyes of the man who raised her. Why? Why was this happening? How did they come to be in danger in the first place? How did a human bullet dig its way deep into her body? Why here? Why now? Unless it could only be. Of course. Of course, of course, of course. Yuki. It was all her doing. She told them. She's the reason all of this is happening. Yuki. 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 Yuki! With that, Veshness transformed once more. She used every strength in her body. The bullets would pierce through her skin, burning her flesh, but she did not care. She ran through, slicing down all the humans who thought they could hide behind their little guns. How many did she kill? 100? 200? She'd wipe them all out. She would paint the snow red with their blood. It looked so natural, so deep and crimson. You would think it fell red. Veshness's mission was far from over, but her body refused to move. Smog clouded her vision. For a moment, she thought she saw a figure in pure, untainted white. Then everything turned black. When Veshness awoke once more, her sister was there yet again. They were no longer in their cave. From the looks of it, they were in some kind of medical ward with other Futurans. As soon as Veshness opened her eyes, Ava pounced on her. Oh, Veshness, you're alive! Ugh, she was so noisy. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Veshness. Me and Valfor are okay. They took the bullets out. Clearly. It's okay. One of the Paragons. He found us and he brought us to their base. We're safe. The old man is dead. Y- yes. Unfortunately. She didn't have time for this. Luckily, there were no wounds left from her bullets. She got up. There was no pain. She could walk freely. Vishnas, what are you doing? You need to rest. Get off of me, Ava. But you. I said get off. Veshnis marched forward. She had business to take care of. She would find the nearest paragon. You! I want to join the paragons. I'm sorry, young lady, but you are you are too young. Then fight me and I'll prove my worth. Uh, I'm sorry, but that is not how this works. I'm so sorry, says Jean. Veshnes, don't mind her. She's just gone through a lot. Veshnes, please go to bed. Please don't show her disrespect. Ugh, she's just like a gnat. Get off of me, Ava! I want to fight! I want to be a paragon! Now fight me and I will prove my worth! What is this commotion? The commotion was so loud it caught the attention of another paragon, the supreme leader and paragon of warfare himself, Dal Shah. What is this racket? You! I want to become a paragon. Make me one right now. If you don't agree, I will fight you to prove my worth. You are too young for war. Too young for war? Too young for war? What did that even mean? Did it mean she had to roll over and take whatever abuse the humans dealt her? Did that make her virtuous? Did that make her blessed by God? Or did it just make her an easy mark? She had seen her parents die before her eyes, tasted bitter scraps of rotten food to survive, heard the ear-bleeding sounds of destruction, smelled ash and blood, and felt the searing stings of metal digging into her body. Whatever hell Del Shah thought he was protecting her from, she had already lived. Her blood and faith had been stolen and used against her. What part of her was still young after all of this? I challenge you, Jal Shah. Are you afraid to fight me? I will win, and when I win, I will be a paragon. She didn't care if he was supposedly blessed by God. She would not show this blind fool any respect, not after all he failed to do for those he swore to protect. Very well. If you persist, then I will beat the pride right out of you for all to see. Then you will wait until you are ready. An audience sounds good to me. Oh my God! You can't go through with that! Vishnu, what are you thinking? Get off of me, Ava! And stand aside, you worthless weakling! Ava would continue to beg Veshnes to stop. Her pleas, like the prayers to God, were ignored. Veshnes stepped into the arena and stared daggers into her opponent. Dalsha would say his words of prayer to God in order to transform into a beast of legend. How foolish. But Veshnis didn't need those stupid words. She just needed one thought, the embodiment of everything wrong. Yuki, that monster, that wicked, vile invader. That monster who deceived everything, who defiled her, who took everything from her. All she needed was that one word repeated in her mind. All those fake, loving words. Yuki, Yuki. With that, Veshness transformed into a beast of justice. Despite her confidence, even Veshnes was surprised by how easy it was. It only took 3 exchanges for Veshnes to take down even the great Dalsha. Dalsha detransformed. Veshnes held him at sword point. Listen closely. You are going to make me the Supreme Commander. You're clearly unfit, and I am superior to you. Now tell them to obey me. After the pain she suffered, she wasn't going to settle for anything less than the highest position. Do it. Very well. From henceforth, you are the supreme commander. Did you hear that? I want you to hear that and understand that this is the new law. This is the new order. I am Veshness, the paragon of hope. With my power, I have defeated even the great Dal Shah. And I will use this same power, bright and powerful, to eradicate the humans from our lands and wipe them clean. I will free our people and bring greatness to Futurin. So listen to me! Yes, she was the paragon of hope. A hope so bright and powerful it would not yield to anything or anyone. Never again.